True home invasion horror stories are probably the scariest videos I watch simply because I have a real fear of it because it's happened to me before and I guess it kind of triggers my memories or whatever. At any rate, they always chill me. So this is probably going to be a pretty good reaction. This one's from Spooked as well. Make sure to subscribe to him, guys. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos. And let's get into this one.
Me and my daughter Julia live together in a suburban neighborhood in the state of Oregon.
All right.
At the time this happened, I worked a 9-to-5 job, which meant I could usually get home at around 6. I remember it was a Friday, and since it was the end of the week, Julia had plans to go to her friend's house right after school and come home right before dinner.
All right.
So that evening, I came home, as usual. Our house is laid out in a way that our garage is actually in the backyard behind the house. So that's where I sometimes park my car, especially at the end of the week when me and Julia planned on staying home.
Right.
I got out of my car and out of the garage. As I walked to enter the house though, I noticed from the upstairs window that the light in Julia's room was on.
Okay.
This was weird, given that, again, Julia was supposed to be at her friend's house. I rushed inside, dropped my things, and headed up to Julia's room.
Sure.
In the hallway, I called out her name, but no response. I could clearly see light shine through the opening between the ground and the door. She was definitely in there, I thought. I called her name a second time, yet again, no response. I tried opening the door, only to find that it was locked.
Oh my gosh.
I then suddenly got a terrifying gut feeling, telling me that maybe someone else that wasn't Julia was in her room.
Right.
I went to my bedroom and locked myself in. I immediately called Julia on her cell phone, as maybe she'd pick up. Fortunately for me, she did. I asked her where she was, to which she said that she was still at her friend's house. I could clearly hear the sound of the music playing in the background and her friend singing along.
Right now.
I hung up the phone and immediately called 911.
There you go.
I explained everything to them, and they told me to stay calm and find somewhere to hide, as they could send officers to my location. I booked it downstairs to the basement, obviously locking the door behind me. I even turned off the lights just in case.
Right.
I stood there for a few minutes when I could hear my front door open and footsteps rush in the house.
Cops.
I waited some more when I heard a knock on my basement door. I opened up to the police officers, and they told me they searched everywhere and couldn't find anyone. I asked, how was it possible that no one was in the house when they showed me the upstairs area where I saw the door to Julia's room now open and the lights turned off. The window to her room was now open, leading me to speculate that whoever was in there must have left between the time I hid and the police arrived.
Right.
When my daughter got home, I told her about the ins and outs of what happened, and she understandingly got real scared.
Of course.
And so was I. At dinner though, she told me something that made my blood run cold. She said she was missing a few of her dirty clothes that she distinctly remembers having left on the door.
No.
Namely some of her dirty underwear, bras, and socks. That night, we slept over at our cousin's house, and luckily nothing else came of it. I've since taken measures to make sure the house is more secure, and we even set up safety rules with Julia. Though, I'd be lying if I said that I've been feeling completely safe from whatever child predator was stalking my daughter.
Of course, that's sick, bruh. God dang.
I'm a school teacher, and at the time this happened, I was single, meaning I was living alone.
Yeah.
It was a Saturday, and I know this might sound a little unproductive, but I had this habit where every Saturday I ordered pizza and ice cream from my favorite pizza place in town on
That's a
Uber
weekend,
Eats,
girl.
and get cozy on the couch in my basement to watch a movie. So, since it was Saturday, I placed the order for the usual pepperoni pie and Ben & Jerry's brownie fudge ice cream,
that's good stuff.
and got comfy on the couch in my basement as I looked for a good movie.
Right.
Halfway through searching for a movie, I got a notification on my phone that my order had arrived. So I went upstairs, and this is where things started getting a little strange.
Okay.
When I opened the door, I was shocked to see that, firstly, I didn't see any ice cream, and secondly, the pizza was completely out of its box and flipped upside down. I didn't understand how this was even possible. even accidentally, how could someone have dropped the pizza in a way so that the box had opened and
Somebody
pizza
just
landed face down
rummaged
on my
through it.
porch? Not to mention that person completely forgetting the ice cream. I called the Uber Eats driver, who said he clearly remembered placing the pizza and ice cream right at my doorstep.
Sure.
I asked for a refund, but I didn't get one. I cleaned up the pizza in a state of confusion, leading me to believe that it was either an actual accident or someone, either the delivery guy or another person with possibly darker intentions, willingly did this. I finished cleaning up the mess and headed over to the kitchen to make myself a sandwich.
Sure.
I was putting the ham back in the fridge when, upon closing the fridge's door, I saw someone behind the living room window rapidly duck down. Whether I actually saw someone or was just hallucinating is still something I don't know for sure, though.
I've seen
I
reflections
stood
before
there
and it kind of scared
silent
me.
for a few minutes,
Especially when you're by yourself,
just to
you
maybe
know?
hear some sounds coming from outside. There was nothing, though. Or maybe being next to the fridge made it harder to hear anything in a clear way.
Sure.
I started getting a little paranoid, thinking that someone was maybe messing with me.
Right.
I took my sandwich and went back downstairs in the basement. I picked a movie, laid back on the couch, and started watching. About a few moments into watching, I leaned over to the side of the couch to put down my plate because I had just finished eating it.
Feel a jump
As I
scare
did
coming
though,
on.
I noticed something on the side of my peripheral vision, as in right behind my couch. I suddenly flipped my head to look behind me, and to my horror,
Oh, I knew it.
just a few couple inches
freaking
away
knew it.
from my face was a person in a mask,
What
giving me a deadpan
the
look.
hell?
I jumped so high I shattered the plate next to me by accidentally knocking it on the floor. I ran up and out the basement and out of my house.
God
I
dang
hid
it,
behind
man.
a bush in the backyard and called the police. Luckily, I wasn't followed by anyone.
Can you
They told me
imagine?
they'd be there within 10 minutes. I patiently waited, and that's when I faintly saw two kids run out of my house and onto the streets
They were playing
on the
pranks on
opposite
you.
of where I was. When the police came, I told them some kids wanted to prank
That's why
me,
they didn't chase
and that
after
the prank
her.
was probably over, given that I now called the cops on them. I thanked them as they left, and they told me to call them if anything else happened.
Man,
Thank God nothing else happened that night.
I mean,
The following morning, though, I went into my office room and found Nazi signs drawn over my students' assignments. This made me think that maybe I knew who did this.
yeah, it was
I thought
school
that
students.
maybe there were these two kids in my class that hated me with all their guts. I also thought about them because they always used to sit in the back of the class and make some
Right.
anti-Semitic jokes because they knew I was Jewish.
Ah,
Fortunately
yeah.
for me, I learned the following day that they both got evicted from school for other reasons.
Mhm.
So I guess that was their way of saying goodbye.
Ah, wow. Dude. Creepy.
I'm a woman, and this happened to me a couple of months ago.
Okay.
I was just out of college and was looking for housing near my college area.
Sure.
I came to find a nice duplex a few minutes away from the college campus. I managed to arrange a viewing of the place with the owner named Kevin, who actually lived in one part of the duplex, which consisted of two living areas.
All right.
Upon meeting Kevin
So
in person,
landlord
though,
and you,
I found
pretty
him to be quite awkward. I don't know how to explain it, but he was making really poor eye contact and just looked pale and also a little
Like
chubby,
dishonest
as if he
or-
spent most of his time in a basement or something.
Mhm.
As I talked
Was
with him,
socially
I could
awkward.
see he was visibly nervous, and for some reason always kept his hands in his pockets.
Maybe he's a criminal.
Anyway, upon moving in, everything was fine. I got introduced to my new classes, made some new friends, and I didn't want to go on too much about those details because it's not exactly the point of what came to happen.
Sure.
It all started getting strange after the first semester. It was just about to be Thanksgiving break. I had plans to go visit my family, who lived just an hour away. It was a Sunday, and I
Kevin
packed my
invite you?
stuff, got in the car, and started driving off. As I was driving, though, it suddenly hit me out of nowhere that I forgot to pack my iPad. I really needed it for
she's gonna
studying,
go back
so
and
I had
she's
no
gonna catch her
choice but to
landlord
turn
doing
around
some
and
ish in
head
her
back to the
house, man.
house. I made it home, though upon parking in the driveway, I was met with something a little creepy.
Uh-huh.
The light at the window to my part of the duplex was on.
Mm-hmm.
I got out of the car, but before I did, I noticed the light
Boy's
was
going through
already
your
turned off.
drawers.
What the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm.
I opened the door, got inside, and carefully made my way around the different rooms to make
Sure.
sure no one was still there. Luckily, there was no one. which made me think that whoever was inside had left upon me parking.
Right.
After a couple of minutes of my heart beating out of my chest, I headed over to the bedroom and found my iPad right on the bed. Now, I don't know for sure if I'd left it there or not, but I rarely use my iPad in bed. Strangely, nothing else seemed to be missing, so it was safe to say someone came either to sneak around or look through my stuff, or wanted to steal stuff, but didn't have enough time. I wasn't really convinced of the second scenario, though.
Think about your landlord,
I looked through my iPad to see if someone had opened any new tabs, or anything that would lead me to think someone was going through my private stuff.
You don't have this stuff locked,
I came
girl?
to find that the photo library was the only tab open. But again, what's telling me that I didn't have that tab open before? In any case, I was safer leaving the place, so I took my iPad and just left. Thanksgiving with my family was great. It was a fun time, though towards the end I felt less and less like going back home.
Yeah.
I started thinking maybe Kevin had actually broken in. It was the most logical explanation, because as the owner of the house, he probably had a spare key to my door.
Exactly.
I eventually
you already
went
had
back
your
home,
suspicions about
when
him
I
being
did,
awkward.
Everything was at its place. Nothing felt off or weird, but I was ready to confront Kevin about someone breaking into my place.
Right.
When I knocked on his door,
really awkward.
he wasn't there though.
Okay.
Maybe he just didn't open because he knew it was me. Anyway, fast forward, and I was now getting ready for bed.
Sure.
I hadn't taken a shower all day, so I decided to go shower.
Oh, did he install
undressed and
cameras?
hopped into the shower. I turned the water on and did my thing. I was leaning my head back to wash out the shampoo out of my hair. That's when, in the ceiling, and I saw a small camera looking down. I jumped out of the shower.
Dang it, man, I called it!
My worst fears literally just confirmed in that moment.
Can you imagine?
I knew for sure Kevin had set this up when I was gone for Thanksgiving.
Yep.
The next day, I sent an email to cancel the lease agreement.
Yep.
I moved in to live with my parents until I found a new place.
Wow, man.
I wanted to reiterate that this guy Kevin was seriously sick, and it's terrifying to think that guys like him are so discreet in their approach to being perverts.
Right.
I recently started to suspect Kevin had maybe sent himself some of my more private pictures from my iPad, though I couldn't confirm he did in any way.
Right. Man! Bunch of sickos out there. I mean, at least it wasn't, you know, when I think of home invasions, I think more of like somebody breaking in. That first story was very reminiscent of it. It's so crazy to think about people going through your stuff, you know, and getting into your private life, or even hiding in your home to do something awful to you or your family. Man, y'all be careful out there, guys. Lock your doors. Thanks so much to Spooked for letting me react to this video. Subscribe to him, guys. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.